These pages have been written with purpose and hope that their suggestions may furnish you a key to open up the way to the attainment of your desires, and to explain that fear should be entirely banished from your effort to obtain possession of the things you desire. This presupposes, of course, that your desire for possession is based upon your aspiration for greater liberty. For example, you feel that the possession of more money, lands, or friends will make you happier, and your desire for possession of these things arises from a conviction that their possession will bring you liberty and happiness. In your effort to possess, you will discover that the thing you most and ultimately need is to be, always, not spasmodically, your best self. That self which understands that the mistakes of those you love are simply misunderstandings. Your feeling that greater possessions, no matter of what kind they may be, will of themselves bring you contentment or happiness is a misunderstanding. No person, place, or thing can give you happiness. They may give you cause for happiness and a feeling of contentment, but the joy of living comes from within. Therefore, it is here recommended, rather than otherwise, that you should make the effort to obtain the things which you feel will bring you joy, provided, as previously stated, that your desires are in accord with the joy of living. It is also desired in this volume to suggest the possibilities in store for all who make persistent effort to understand the law of visualization and make practical application of this knowledge on whatever plane he or she may be. The word effort, as here employed, is not intended to convey the idea of strain. All study and meditation should be without strain or tension. It has been my endeavour to show that by starting at the beginning of the creative action or the mental picture, certain corresponding results are sure to follow. While the laws of the universe cannot be altered, they can be made to work under specific conditions, thereby producing results for individual advancement which cannot be obtained under the spontaneous working of the law provided by nature. However far the suggestions I have given you of the possibilities in store for you through visualizing may carry you beyond your past experience, they nowhere break the continuity of the law of cause and effect. If, through the suggestions given here, anyone is brought to realize that their mind is a centre through and in which all power there is in operation, simply waiting to be given direction in the one and only way through which it can take specific action, and this means reaction in concrete or physical form, then the mission to which this book is dedicated has been fulfilled. Try to remember that the picture you think, feel and see is reflected into the universal mind, and by the natural law of reciprocal action must return to you in either spiritual or physical form. Knowledge of this law of reciprocal action between the individual and the universal mind opens to you free access to all you may wish to possess or to be. It must be steadfastly borne in mind that all this can only be true for the individual who recognizes that they derive their power to make an abiding mental picture from the all-originating universal spirit of life, God, and can be used constructively only so long as it is employed and retained in harmony with the nature of the spirit which originated it. To ensure this, there must be no inversion of the thought of the individual regarding their relationship to this universal originating spirit, which is that of a son or daughter, through which the parent mind acts and reacts. Thus conditioned, whatever you think and feel yourself to be, the creative spirit of life is bound to faithfully reproduce in a corresponding reaction. This is the great reason for picturing yourself and your affairs as you wish them to be as existing facts, though invisible to the physical eye, and live in your picture. An honest endeavour to do this, always recognising that your own mind is a projection of the originating spirit, will prove to you that the best there is yours in all your ways. Chapter 1. Order of Visualization. The exercise of the visualizing faculty keeps your mind in order and attracts to you the things you need to make life more enjoyable in an orderly way. If you train yourself in practice of deliberately picturing your desire and carefully examining it, you will soon find that your thought and desires come and proceed in more orderly procession than ever before. Having reached a state of ordered mentality, you are no longer in a constant state of mental hurry. Hurry is fear, and consequently destructive. In other words, when your understanding grasps the power to visualize your heart's desire and hold it with your will, it attracts to you all things requisite to the fulfillment of that picture by the harmonious vibrations of the law of attraction. You realize that since order is heaven's first law, and visualization places things in their natural element, then it must be a heavenly thing to visualize. Everyone visualizes, whether they know it or not. Visualizing is the great secret of success. The conscious use of this great power attracts to you greatly multiplied resources, intensifies your wisdom, and enables you to make use of advantages which you formerly failed to recognize. Can you not realize that still greater secrets may be disclosed? Also, that you hold the key within yourself with which to unlock the secret chamber that contains your heart's desire. All that is necessary in order that you may use this key and make your life exactly what you wish it to be is a careful inquiry into the unseen causes which stand back of every external and visible condition. Then bring these unseen causes into harmony with your conception, and you will find that you can make practical working realities of possibilities which at present seem but fantastic dreams.
The mind of man contains within itself limitless possibilities. The conscious mind of man is endowed with an inherent creative faculty. It continually creates things in man's life and experience, whether or not man is aware of the creative process. Whenever a man thinks, that thought has creative power. The subconscious mind is but the instrument of the conscious mind of man. It is the medium by which man may call into existence the things necessary to his material welfare. In the following pages, I have tried to explain in a brief manner the process by which the conscious mind of man governs the life and affairs of mankind. This book is by no means complete. It is too condensed to explain things as I should like to explain them, but I trust that at a later day I may be given the opportunity to deal in a more satisfactory manner with the various process of mind in its different phases. Chapter 1. Mind. The mind of God is infinite. The mind of man is finite. The finite cannot comprehend the infinite, but it can comprehend certain facts in regard to the infinite. The mind of God is all the mind that exists. It is eternal and is coexistent with the eternal life of God himself. God is spirit. Mind is spirit. The Spirit of God is eternal and ever-present. The conscious mind of God is the part of the Spirit which knows itself. The conscious mind of man is a portion of this self-knowingness of the Spirit. The conscious mind of man is that part of the Spirit of God which he has placed within mankind in order that mankind may function independently of him. It is a divine spark in man that distinguishes him from all other forms of life. It is confined exclusively to mankind. It is this power resident in man that enables him to control conditions and to determine what manner of life he shall lead. It enables man to work out his own destiny. The subconscious or subjective mind of man is a portion of the universal subjective mind. The universal subjective mind is a certain phase of the infinite mind of God. A portion of the universal subjectivity is allotted to mankind to use. That is what is meant by the subjective mind of man. It is not separated from the universal subjective mind, but at the same time, it is allotted to individuals for their use, and to this extent becomes the property of the individual. Universal subjective mind is mind in the abstract. Mind in the abstract means this: abstraction is a condition of essential elements in a state of dissolution, so to speak. This condition does not imply a state of decay. It implies that the elements which are used in creating a particular thing are in their original state, the state which precedes their assuming the form which they must take before mankind can see them.
The subconscious mind speaks the language of feeling. In order to get deep into the recesses of your subconscious mind for fast manifestation, it's imperative to translate your desires in a way that it can understand exactly what you want to manifest. And we do this through sensory-based language, or the use of our senses. Our three main sensory receivers are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. And each of us has a dominant learning style that the brain uses to absorb and program new information or goals. However, we build these muscles by incorporating all three for more accurate manifestation success. The human brain has evolved to operate and accept our goals in a multisensory environment. So we are already programmed to process multisensory signals. Inputs that are multisensory provide different information that the subconscious mind can use to move us towards our desires. The main concept of multisensory goal inputting is that the subconscious mind can learn and process exactly what it is that we want in a much faster way. A combination of simultaneous stimuli enables it to interpret, store, seek out, and retrieve the desired goal. Here's where people sometimes have difficulty. When we state our desires in general terms, the subconscious mind doesn't really understand that that is what is wanted. Without specifically using our sensory muscles, the subconscious mind will not have a clear idea of what it needs to work on for you. Let's use an example of overall happiness. This is a defined goal. However, if we say we desire to be happy without any further sensory instructions as to the various aspects of our life that we would like to increase in happiness, such as relationships, abundance, or spirituality, it will be too broad of a goal for the subconscious mind to understand. Because it takes things literally, it will stop its efforts towards manifesting a goal as soon as it thinks it has satisfied our criteria. In other words, if you were to find an extra $5 just lying on the ground and it makes you feel happy, the subconscious will believe it has done all it needs to do to fulfill the desire of happiness. And it may possibly stop its efforts at that point. So it's our job to define the goal specifically and teach it what we mean in certain terms with more detailed sensory instructions. And we do this by defining the goal as specifically as possible with sensory-based language. Here's how to do it. Let's use the example of overall happiness once again. You'll want to answer a few sensory-based questions in order to give your subconscious mind the right information in order to work towards your goal. So number 1, what will you see in your life that will let you know that you have manifested your desire? More specifically, if you achieved overall happiness, what would you see that you don't see now? For example, you might see yourself with the love of your life, or on a peaceful vacation, or even living in the home of your dreams. What visual could you produce in your mind that matches this manifestation? These are tangible visual examples of having manifested your desire. The subconscious mind can literally see these examples as you produce them in your mind. For the second part of this process, ask yourself what you will hear other people saying about you or to you when you have manifested your goal. And what will you be saying to yourself? The answers to these questions will be something to the effect of, "You're one of the happiest people I know." And from yourself, you would hear a comment like, "I am happier than I've ever been." Your subconscious mind will literally hear the examples as you produce them in your mind. Next, you'll want to move on to the kinesthetic portion. How will you feel when you have manifested your desire? This question's a little trickier because the answer might be expressed as emotions similar to happiness, joyful, or satisfied. It could also mean something like touching a physical object. However, if you're using emotion-based words, they will still be abstractions to the subconscious mind and will need to be broken down into a more sensory-based description. To do this, imagine a time in your past when you had the desired feeling, such as happiness. Attach these feelings to the images and the sounds that you previously produced in the other parts of this process, and sit with that for as long as you're able to create those sensations. To further enhance this sensory-based subconscious language, ask yourself the following questions about this part of the process. Where in your body do you notice the greatest concentration of the feeling? Can you associate a color with this feeling? Does it have a temperature, such as warmth? Does the feeling have a texture that you can define? Don't be too concerned if you can't answer all the kinesthetic questions. Just do the best that you can. These kinesthetic answers are a more tangible, sensory-based description of an otherwise abstract concept of happiness. In going through this part of the process, the concept of happiness is defined in such a way that the subconscious mind can interpret, store, seek out and retrieve this feeling, and ultimately the manifestation that aligns with that. Describing your desire in a language that the subconscious mind can understand is critical to manifesting the results you desire. Whether your goal is happiness, a healthy relationship, physical well-being, financial abundance, or a positive and successful self-image, this process will help clarify your goal for the subconscious mind in the language it speaks to create your life.